Hello, thanks for joining us for our free webinar talking about how to build your real estate portfolio the smart way. My name is Nicole Duran. I'm a real estate broker at Properties. I've been in the business for about 12 years now, so 2009, right when it was rough in the industry, and I was a specialist in short sales and foreclosures, starting my business off. I started investing in real estate myself in 2011. It was a good year to start, of course. And then I started building my portfolio from there, leveraging and just having my real estate experts guide me in the right direction. I definitely want to share that knowledge. Brian Dabrowski with Guarantee Rates joining me today. He's been in the business for 20 years, and we've been working together since day one of my career for 12 years. And I think it's really good to share our knowledge together to help you guys build a real estate portfolio, because that's the best way to gain, build wealth and get some passive income for you guys, in addition to whatever you want to do. So today we're going to be talking about the basics of real estate and how to build your real estate portfolio. Brian?
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate it. Like Nicole said, we've been working together ever since she got into the business. And he's become a friend, also, a trusted business associate of mine. So I love working with her, and I trust her knowledge in the industry as much as any of the top real estate agents around. She's excellent at what she does. So like Nicole said, I've been doing mortgages just shy of 20 years. The last 4 have been with Guaranteed Rate. And I built my business on being knowledgeable and being able to, basically share that information with people and help other people build their real estate using our knowledge. And that's what Nicole had leaned on, is that, I helped her build her portfolio the smart way, and she's continuing to build it. Not to get off on a tangent, but Nicole, right now you own a couple of investment properties, right?
Yep, I have 3, and I'm working on my 4th one now that the interest rates are so low. Why not?
Have you, did you put 20% down on all those properties?
No, I put the minimum, so 5% on all of them, because I didn't do an FHA loan, but definitely FHA loan, if you can, is, I would say, the best route.
Absolutely.
For 5% down. It's
crazy because you're buying investment properties, but you're putting less than the required 20% down or 25% down when it's a multifamily property. So I guess really we're discussing how did you do that? How are you able to legally do that? And it's really, it really comes down to intent and your plan of action. And that's where talking to us, working with us to help guide you down the right path is going to be very beneficial. So let's talk a little bit about the, buying property the smart way. As we had mentioned, if you're buying a property and you're buying it as an investment property, that means you're never intending to occupy the property at all. Well, then your down payment is going to be 20% or 25% if it's a multifamily property. But if you're buying a property and you intend to occupy the property for at least 12 months, and in certain circumstances, it could be less than 12 months, but if you plan on living there at least 12 months, then it's not an investment property. It's actually owner occupied. And that's the way you get away with lower down payment options, lower closing costs, and way lower interest rates. So why we'd like to bring this up is because I can do anything for a year. Even if this is a property that you never really want to live in, is it something you can live in now for a short period of time, knowing that it's the first opportunity for you to start building your investment portfolio? And usually the answer is yes to that. So that's really where we start to guide you on this structured buying concept, that you don't have to put 20% down on every purchase that you make. You can put down the minimum 3% or 3.5% or 5% down and move on from there. And that's what our entire webinar is based on, building your portfolio the smart way. Let's talk a little bit about leverage buying. Now, leverage buying is pretty unique to real estate in that what you're doing is you're borrowing up to 97% of the purchase of the property. So you're borrowing that from the bank, and you're earning appreciation, not just on your down payment, but also on all the money that came from the bank. So think of it this way. Let's say you've got $3,000 that you don't know what to do. You want to invest it somewhere, but you're not sure where to put it. You put the $3,000 in the stock market, and let's say you make 10% return on that money in the first year. So you took $3,000, made 10%, that's $300. not a bad return on your investment. Let's take that same $3,000 and now buy a $100,000 condo. So now you still put that same $3,000 down, but now you're earning appreciation off of the $100,000, not just the $3,000. So let's say you earn 10% off that $100,000, you just earn $10,000 off of $3,000 instead of earning $300 off of $3,000. So you could see this leverage really helps build wealth. This is how people go from, middle class to upper class. This is the money differential. And really one of the biggest things about it is the sooner you get in to investing in real estate, the better. So it's not about timing the market per se. It is the amount of time you have in the market. So the younger you are and you start investing, the bigger your portfolio is going to grow because you're just going to have longer time to do it. And that's really where we're gravitating and why we're doing this seminar today. We're going to we discussed briefly the difference between like an owner-occupied property and investment property. Really the difference comes down to your intent to occupy. And remember, you're only telling the investors, you're only telling the bank that you're going to occupy this property as your primary home for 12 months. After 12 months, you can do anything you want. You don't have to ask for permission to rent it out. You don't need to refinance into a higher interest rate. You can keep the same rate, the same loan program, and just move out and buy another property. And the fun thing about it is that when you go and buy that new property, I could actually use the rental income on your current property to offset that mortgage payment. So we don't even have to count that against you anymore. So now you're buying a second quote unquote investment property, but you're not buying it as an investment property. And you can literally just keep doing this. Technically speaking, you're only supposed to have 10 finance properties, not more than that. But hopefully by the time you get to number 10, you've got one or two of these paid off because your renters have been paying these things down. And again, that comes down to structuring it properly, working with the right people like Nicole and me. We're going to really, because we've done this so often, we're going to show you how to do it. And especially if this is your first time investing, we're going to start you off on the right track from day one, and put you on a path to purchase more and more properties. It doesn't have to be every 12 months. It could be every 24 months or 36 months, whatever is more comfortable for you or however long it takes you to save up that money for the down payment. Speaking of down payment, so there are really only three things that we as mortgage companies look for when we're approving people. Down payment is one of them. So you have to have your minimum down payment, and that's going to depend on the loan program, and it's also going to depend on the occupancy status, which we've touched on multiple times already. So if it's owner occupied, way lower down payment. Investment, higher payment or higher down payment. We also look at two other criteria when qualifying. One of them is called your debt to income ratio. So we take your total gross income and we divide it by your monthly debt obligations that would show up on your credit report and your new housing payment. And as long as your debt to income ratio falls in line with below the maximum, you're good for a loan. And then the third piece we're going to look at are going to be your credit scores. So as long as you meet the credit score requirement, the down payment requirement, and the maximum come in under the maximum debt to income ratio, you're approved for the loan. Now, if you're missing one of those, let's say you have good credit and you've got a good debt to income ratio, but you're low on savings because you're young and you haven't had an opportunity to save. Well, we actually have options for you because there are down payment assistance grant programs out there designed to help people who have limited savings be able to purchase a property. So just because you have limited savings doesn't mean you can't purchase a property. It means we have to have a little bit more educational experience on it and make sure we bring you up to speed on things, but you have options. Now, if your credit scores aren't meeting the minimum, well, having this conversation with us will allow you to at least put you on the right path, knowing that, hey, we're not quite there yet, but what do we need to do in order to get there 6 months, 12 months down the road? So it's really nice to know these things up front and be proactive. If you are going to have any barriers, it's better to know what these barriers are now before you decide to make a move 6 months or 12 months down the road. And that's why it's always better. Don't procrastinate. Have a conversation with Nicole. Have a conversation with me, and we will make sure that you're on the right track from start to finish. When it comes down to buying real estate in general, one of the most important things, and Nicole will attest to, is having the right team. Because it's not just getting the knowledge that we have from having years of experience. I mean, 32 combined years in this industry. We can share all of the achievements and accomplishments and all the pitfalls that we've already tracked through ourselves, so you don't have to deal with it. But on top of that, over these years, we've acquired tons of really solid, trustworthy individuals and vendors who we have at our disposal to help utilize, that you could utilize towards your purchase. Nicole, I know you've got a ton of people in the trades and everywhere else that anytime someone needs something, you seem to, oh, I got a guy. Well, I got two guys for you, or gal.
Honestly, I think it's the number one most important thing when you're starting to invest in real estate is having a good team that you trust. If you don't have somebody to guide you in the right direction, I started buying my own properties 2 years after being in the business. I was not an expert. If I didn't have my experts and my team that I trusted to guide me in the right direction, I probably wouldn't have had 3-4 solid investments, right? So I definitely recommend finding someone that you know, like, and trust. Trust being the number one, I would say, because you have to lean on them to guide you in the right direction. That's why I love working with you. I completely trust that you're gonna guide my clients and the people I care about in the right direction and not over approve or get them in the position that they're going to be foreclosing or losing their home or investments. So it's really important to find that team, build your team, do those calls and get a game plan beforehand. Because if you can't do it today, you're definitely going to be able to get a game plan, do it in 6 to 12 months. I mean, most of the time. So definitely give us a call if you are doubting it. A lot of people don't understand that it is a lot easier to buy a building, or start small if you want to, a condo or whatever you could afford or get into depending on the location. But I think it's really important to get a game plan and get your team ready.
Absolutely. So we're going to leave you just with a couple of like do's and don'ts, just kind of like prepare yourself. There are a couple of things, a lot of people say, oh, this is common sense, but a lot of other people are like, oh, that's good to know. So first, do keep your credit card balances low. So I know it's sometimes tough. Spending can be pretty, especially right now, people are like coming out of a pandemic. People are like, I want to spend. But really try and keep your credit card balances low. When you do that, your credit scores will be higher. So low credit card balances equal higher credit scores. Higher credit card balances equal lower credit scores. So really, we just want to keep those low. Do keep tabs on your credit. I'm not asking you to pull your credit 10 times a year. Do some soft credit pulls, or maybe even one hard credit pull a year, just to know where you stand. At least this way you know what your credit scores are going to be, and if you're going to run into any problems. Also, you'll know if there's any judgments out there, or if there's any derogatory items such as collections that you might need to pay off or want to pay off sooner than later. So it never hurts. If you say, well, I don't know where to begin on that, then you call me and I'll run your credit and I'll take a look at it and I'll guide you on that piece. Do save money. You're going to need money to purchase a property. There's down payment, there's closing costs. A lot of times we can negotiate that the seller cover the closing costs. So you really only have to focus on the down payment. But no matter what, you're going to need money, whether it's for your down payment and closing costs or to furnish your property. So save, try not to spend. It's better to have more money than less money when you're moving into investing. Do be open and transparent with me and Nicole, because we're here to help you. We're here to guide you. We want to make sure that you're making fully informed decisions, and we can't give you proper guidance if we don't know the full story. So if you're thinking, oh, well, they won't know about it, or they won't find out, or they don't have a way of finding out. Trust me when I say underwriters have a way of finding out things. So if you do have foreclosures, bankruptcies in the past, even though it's not showing up on your credit report, there's going to be some sort of extra digging that is done in order to find it. So let us know, and we can be proactive, and we can make sure that we overcome these hurdles before you start spending time and money only to find out that you run into a problem down the road. Do limit your spending. Obviously, I think it goes to keeping credit cards low, but don't spend money on unnecessary things. Obviously, we need transportation, we need food. It is what it is. But if you're trying to purchase a home, well, then don't go out and buy a $60,000 car. That means you're not going to be able to afford the home that you want. So think about it in a rational way. Do you really, really want that brand new Jeep Wrangler that's going to be an $800 a month payment? Or do you want that really awesome condo that you feel like you could see yourself living in, and give yourself an extra $800 to spend on that condo per month? I'll take the condo. So I wouldn't mind if she.
Well, and it could even be as simple as, you know, opening up a credit card at like Crate and Barrel and getting your furniture for that condo before you close. It could
There
be
you
as
go.
simple as that in some scenarios, guys. So if you open up anything, please talk to Brian first.
Before you do it, before you open it. So no new credit cards, no new store cards, no new auto loans. Don't take out any student loans. I mean, if you need to, you need to, but just have the conversation with us first. And I'll say, hey, it is what it is. We need this. But if you can keep that payment at $300 instead of $800, that gives you $500 more to spend on your home. So having that conversation up front could be really beneficial for you in the long run. And then just lean on us before you make these big decisions. Lean on us and lean on us for anything that you need, because we know that this isn't something you do on a regular basis. We do it on a regular basis. Use us, use our knowledge and the people that we rely on in order to answer questions, and we'll get those answers for you before you start making those decisions. That's really all I have for you today. Nicole, anything else?
No, just to wrap up, we plan on doing webinars to build on this knowledge. We just wanted to go over the basics today. We're planning on once a month, so we'll be posting them on social media for you guys to join us, and we'll go deeper into like house hacking, building your portfolio by leveraging property, the equity and everything like that, and other things, how you could save money to maximize your return on investment for your properties. So if this is something you're interested in, then reach out to us or just keep an eye out for our monthly webinars.
Wonderful. Well, great. It was great sharing time with you guys today. And like we said, if you need anything, reach out to us anytime. We're always around. Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.